Well, hello, theology class. This is your Bible teacher, Mr. Sly, coming to you from the ghost town that is now Redeemer Christian School. I'm sitting in my classroom. All of the desks have the chairs on top of them. It's freezing cold. As you know, the air conditioning is now working like a champ. There's no one wrestling or lounging on my couch. The counter is clean. The coffee machine is idle. The smartboard is blank. And yet, alas, it's rather lonely around here. I don't know how you're feeling. I'm a bit bummed that we're not going to be gathering. I certainly miss you guys, and I suspect that you miss one another as well. If you have found this, it means you have found my YouTube channel, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a masterful technological feat on my part, as one who, probably could operate a fax machine. Many of us, I suspect you figured out, are using YouTube channels. I'm not sure if everyone is, but my desire and goal is to give you a couple of YouTube videos each week to substitute for in-class discussion and instruction. That being said, certainly not a great substitute, but nevertheless, we're going to try to give you a little bit of theological meat to consider and chew on from a distance. Now, I'm assuming at least some of us are pretty excited about doing online Bible class in the quiet and comfort of our own bedroom or living room, sitting on a couch by ourselves. May I emphasize the by ourselves part? Emma, I'm assuming you're going to thoroughly enjoy Bible class without ridicule or mockery or the regular ritual of being made fun of. That being said, I figured since you won't be seeing him for a very long time, you might want one last look at one Dominic Bello. That being said, my goal is to try and give you as organized and clear summary of expectations as I can each week. I'm sure that you're going to be struggling to manage 5 or 6 different teachers' expectations and ways of doing things online. So at the beginning of each week, I'm going to give you this page, which will have the basic expectations for the week. And I will also send you a Monday morning email outlining the basic plans and expectations for the week. So look for that Monday morning. There will essentially be a couple of components to this class, essentially as they normally are. Each week you're going to have some sort of assignment. It might be reading and then responding to that reading. It might be some sort of more creative assignment like we did in the first semester of theology class. In any case, you may have something to read and you will have something to write each week, and you will send that to me by email by the due date that is attached to it. Secondly, I'm going to give you typically 2 roughly 30-minute videos each week. The first one you are to watch on Monday or Tuesday, and the second one you are to watch on Wednesday or Thursday. Hopefully, this will be not a full throttle version of what would have happened in the fourth quarter, but a manageable slice of the theological pie. Dr. Nato suggested that whatever I was going to do in the fourth quarter ought to cut in half, roughly, and do that. I usually like to cover 4 or 5 topics of practical theology in the fourth quarter. So we're going to take probably 2. The bulk of our time is going to be spent discussing a theology of work. What does it mean to work and labor as a Christian? And toward the end of the quarter, we will try to have time for a theology of leisure. What does it mean to play and have time off and engage in leisure as a Christian? But for now, our main subject is going to be work, theology of work. And so videos posted to my YouTube channel are going to be the way that I will instruct you. So some sort of assignment, some reading, some writing, and 2 videos per week. Certainly 1 this week. This video that you're watching now will act for March 26th and 27th. The way that you're going to affirm that you are engaging with this video is to make a 2 to 3 sentence comment in the YouTube comment section below the video, affirming that you did in fact watch the video, and offering a brief comment on how it interacts with your life in some way. Make sure you leave your name, just in case your YouTube account doesn't actually describe for me what your name is. Or if you don't have a YouTube account, make sure you leave your name so that I know that you're participating, because this will act essentially as your attendance for that couple of days. Sometimes at the end of a video, in fact, I'm going to try to do this in every video, I will give you some direction as to the type of comment that I want you to make. But if I do not direct you, simply offer some comment on how that day's material interacts with your life in some way. At the end of the quarter, we will have a test. I will send you a study guide in the future. For now, you ought to take notes so that you will be prepared for that test. As you can see, I'm going to be using PowerPoint more copiously than I ordinarily do, so that ought to be, I think, an aid for you in note taking. Finally, I think we ought to communicate semi-regularly. I intend to email you, of course, Monday morning and any other time that I need to, and feel free to email me whenever you have any questions. I intend to be by my email generally and closely Monday to Friday between 8 and 3, kyle.sly@redeemerlions.com. Lastly, I would like to leave you with a little theological bit of encouragement, perspective, I suppose. This quote you would have seen if you were paying attention in chapel a few weeks ago. Michael Rawls gave it to us. It comes from Derek Kidner in his commentary on the 107th Psalm. And as I've kind of been living the last week or two, seeing all that has been happening, facing the reality of at least a month of online school, perhaps more, the semi-quarantine, the social distancing, and all the rest. This quote has kind of situated my heart, and it's been a way that I have sort of received some new character qualities of God in relationship with Him. Kidner says, the hurricane, and you can substitute the word virus in here, the hurricane/virus shakes us into seeing that in a world of gigantic forces, we live by permission, not by good management. I think his point is well taken in this time, as I have watched the world kind of come to a screeching halt. A global world, a very economically driven world, a successful and prosperous world in many parts, come to a halt because of a sickness, a fairly serious sickness has basically put the world on hold. It makes me feel very small and little and weak and impotent with regard to actually having any kind of control over my life. And I realize that it's so easy for me to think of myself as in control of my life. Only now I feel incredibly out of control of my life and have discovered in kind of the language of this quote that the whole time, have only ever been living by God's permission and not by my own good management. So I commend that little bit about God's sovereignty to you. I pray and desire that you would enjoy our great God who stands enthroned above the cosmos and all of its moving parts and pieces, its joys and its sorrows. All that being said, if you could leave a comment, in fact, you must leave a comment at the end of this video, and I'd like for you to say, share something that you have discovered about yourself in the last week or two, especially as you've living in this new normal and anticipating mild quarantine for a while and being away from school, off by yourself with your families. What is something you've discovered about yourself? It could be very serious, like, I'm not in control of my life. Or perhaps it could be very silly, like, I've discovered that my snacking habits are terrible now that I'm sitting around at home all day, or some other tidbit that you have learned about yourself or are discovering about your time away from school. Look for an email from me on Monday. Miss you all. Love you guys. This is the end of Theology instruction for March 26th and 27th.